Hi, thanks for joining me. It's time for another share. Sometimes I am called to share poetry or a little bit of writing from an author or a poet that catches my eye, and this is one of those times. So thank you for receiving. Just be a few minutes, so make yourself comfortable and be open to receive. It's written by an incredible author and poet by the name of John Roedel. You might have seen him on Facebook or Instagram perhaps, but a very, very talented man that writes from his heart, and I hope you enjoy this one too. It's called Reverse Origami. I was born with a last name and all the expectations that came with it. From birth, I was crafted to be an origami swan, to have perfectly folded edges, to exist on a shelf, to be looked at from a distance, to appear complete, to live precisely. I tried to live that way, I swear I did, for so long. I would resist the urge to let go of the form I was told to live by. They said my happiness would be directly tied to how impeccably I held my shape. They said that I couldn't show any blemishes or faults if I wanted to be honored. Even during the days when I could feel the geometry inside of me start to become wild poetry, I stay as folded as I possibly could. Despite the growing sound of crinkling paper coming from inside of my loose leaf heart, I clung to my folds. But one morning, not too long ago, I woke up and I noticed that one of my perfectly shaped swan wings had a single wrinkle in it. I tried to hide my imperfection from the world by only letting people see my good side, my faultless side, my seamless side. A short while later, I noticed that my other wing had lost its tight fold and was starting to curl outward. I was coming undone and unfolded right in front of the world. The rest of me started falling apart soon after. Within a short time, I no longer looked like a perfect swan. I had become a flattened out piece of paper with more crow's feet creases in my form than I could count. Eventually, a breeze came and took me off my shelf and carried me out of the window into the untamed wild. It was that moment when I was my most unfurled self that I called out to God. Where are my perfect folds? Where have my straight lines gone? I asked the empty sky. God spouted out of the ground next to me in the form of a wildflower. They are gone, my love. All those things you once thought you were are now gone. I cried. Why are you crying? God asked, while stretching out above me with flower petals of at least half a dozen colors that I had never seen before from the safe shelf I had lived most of my life from. Because without my folds and lines that I was given, I have no purpose, I sobbed. Without my hard edges and defined creases, I don't know who I am anymore. I do, God said while exploding into an Easter bloom. I held my breath. You finally get to be you. You are now an untouched canvas who decides what it gets to be marked with. You are lucky enough to be a piece of blank paper that gets to choose what is written on it. You get to be a selection of art that you get to help create. You are now able to leave behind the expectations this world has for you to be perfect. And now you get to become whatever you want to be. God was now a towering wildflower that was riding up to kiss the sun. "Oh," I replied, while looking at myself with new eyes. Instead of being tightly bound together, I was now an outstretched creation. Instead of being a perfect sculpture, I was an open hand. "What now?" I asked the wildflower of God. "What now?" God laughed. "Anything, everything. It's all in front of you. It's all adventure from here." Suddenly, a gust of wind picked me up again and started carrying me to the horizon. Even though I had been a swan my whole life, the first time I ever flew was when I lost my wings. Oh, what an adventure it is to come undone. Thank you, John Roedel, for that mastery piece. Thank you very much for listening and receiving, and I hope that it stirred you deeply and ruffled your wings perhaps. Maybe you are ready to unfurl and fly for the first time. Trust in yourself. Trust you are always divinely guided and divinely supported. Take care and blessings to you always.